What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video. And in this video, as you can see by the thumbnail, is sports cards even a hobby anymore? This is an article that I found before I recorded episode number 150 of Murph's Boston Sports Talk a week and a half or so ago. And I even said it in that episode. And if you want to listen to my full discussion about this article that we're going to go into today, definitely go check out that episode of the podcast. I'll leave a link to it right about here.
Oh my gosh, I gotta edit that out, man.
Somewhere up there. And I know it's about a week and a half or so after I recorded that episode. And if you already listened to Murph's Boston Sports Talk episode number 150, you've already kind of heard me rant about this and kind of go into it. But in case you haven't, I want to dive into it here now because I do believe this is something that needs to be addressed. And this is an article by Mike Thomas published on June 19th, so about a month ago. And it's titled, Is collecting sports cards even a hobby anymore? I went to a sports card and memorabilia show a month ago for the first time in years. It's amazing how much has changed. Is collecting sports cards a hobby anymore? Can kids even do this now? Good luck to a 16-year-old LeBron James fan who wants to add pieces of memorabilia to his collection. Would he rather have a used car or a LeBron James autograph or rookie card? Both can fetch the same price depending on the year and now the grade of the card. The sports card industry has become a big-time business. Gone are those days our kids heading to the local card store and ripping open a couple packs to find their favorite player. Now, I even mentioned this in the podcast. This isn't true. A lot of kids come on down to the shop to still rip some packs, buy boxes and cards. So this is a little bit of a stretch, but I see his point. Sports card market skyrocketed during the COVID-19 pandemic. And I love this picture from 1980 of what a card show looks like. You have cases, you have binders, not a phone in sight. It's kind of cool, to be honest. But anyways, collecting baseball cards has always been a thing, way back when it was a way to show your fandom for a particular player or a certain team. Open packs of cards, stash them away, trade them with your friends, and put them together, a little collection. In the 1980s, the Topps company, the biggest name in the business, had some competition. Fleer and Donruss joined in, debuting their baseball card product in 1981. Those companies got greedy during the late 80s, overproducing their cards and creating what is now known today as the junk wax era. The overproduction, combined with Major League Baseball's player strike in 1994, turned collectors off and the hobby had a downturn. The birth of eBay played a role in the resurgence of the hobby as cards were readily available at the touch of a button. Companies got innovative with their products, adding autographed cards and cards with game-worn jersey swatches into the packs. The price of packs increased, but there was a gamble feel to the hobby, knowing there's a chance you might pull a signed card of your favorite player. As the hobby leveled off, it got a serious resurgence during the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic combined with the untimely death of Kobe Bryant had sports fans itching for something to do. Now, I even mentioned this in the podcast that I don't truly believe that there is a correlation between COVID and Kobe's untimely passing that has grown the sports card hobby as we now know it. Yes, Kobe Bryant's passing did help his sports cards go up in value. But Kobe passed away in January, and the pandemic here in the United States started in mid-March. So that's a 2-month gap. COVID-19 is a little behind Kobe's passing. Yes, did his memorabilia go up? Yes, did his sports cards go up when he passed away? Of course. But COVID hadn't happened yet, and a lot of people in the hobby now weren't in the hobby when Kobe passed away. So yes, is there a little correlation? Sure. But is it truly combined? I don't think so. Quote, people are home, there's no sports being played, they're reminiscing between Kobe Bryant's death and Michael Jordan's documentary. Their nostalgia has been rekindled. End quote. Jeremy Brown, owner of the Ultimate Sports Cards and Memorabilia and a regular on Pawn Stars, said at the time per the Las Vegas Review-Journal. And I do agree that Michael Jordan's Last Dance documentary definitely helped his value. Scottie Pippen's value, Tony Kukoc, Steve Kerr, Dennis Rodman, all those guys from those 90s Bulls teams definitely helped their value, and of course Michael Jordan's value as well, along with COVID-19. Is collecting sports cards a hobby anymore? Going to my first card/memorabilia show in roughly 20 years was a complete shock. It was jam-packed and money was being thrown around all over the place. But is it really a hobby today? At first glance, it was everything I remembered. There were customers with their own cards looking to sell or trade with some of the dealers. Then things got weird. Those dealers then seemingly turned into doctors. They immediately put on gloves to handle the cards. They grabbed their magnifying glasses to zoom in on the corners, edges, and surfaces of the cards. Dealers have to because these days cards aren't worth much unless companies like PSA, Beckett, or SGC, TGA, say they are. Many cards are sent to these companies with a handsome fee attached, not TGA, for grading. If the cards come back usually months later, not TGA, with a 10 attached, it's worth significantly more. After the card is scrutinized with the magnifying glass, the ruler comes out. The centering, of course, needs to be checked. This was a far cry from what I remember years ago. Also shocking to me were the prices. If you wanted to purchase an unopened box of Panini One football, it would run you close to $600. What do you get from a Panini One box? You get one card. I saw a Grant Williams card selling for more than Larry Bird cards. A Trevor Lawrence card had a $1,500 price tag. That's $500 per career win if you're counting from home. Now, yeah, I understand that Trevor Lawrence has a high price tag for doing little so far in his NFL career, but he's only played one season. He's the former number 1 overall pick, and he had a very, very, very good collegiate career. There's a high potential for Trevor Lawrence. There's a huge what if behind his name. He could win 4 Super Bowls. We have no idea. He could win 5 MVPs. We don't know. Rookies, when we buy rookie cards, we're buying the unknown. Yeah, Jerry Rice has 20,000 receiving yards, but Justin Jefferson could get 25. Jamar Chase could have 200 touchdowns. You just don't know. And that's kind of the investment aspect of the card. If Trevor Lawrence goes out and makes the playoffs, win a game, that $1,500 price tag is going to look like an absolute bargain. And that's kind of something where he doesn't, Mike Thomas, right? Mike Thomas? Let me just double check here. Mike Thomas doesn't understand that sports cards, yes, has become a business, which he's now realizing, but it's also an investment as well, where this Trevor Lawrence card, now, if it's just a regular base Prism, $1,500, way overboard. But if that's like a National Treasures or Flawless card, well, $1,500 again, it's going to seem pretty cheap. And then, of course, Grant Williams, depending on the card, of course, is it an autograph, Larry Bird rookie, whatever it may be. So a lot of players nowadays are going to be worth more than some of the legends from years ago. It's just kind of the nature of the hobby. Larry Bird is an established top 5, top 10 player of all time, whereas Grant Williams, you're still buying the unknown. Same as with Trevor Lawrence, you're buying the unknown. Grant Williams could go out and win 6 NBA titles for all we know. His career is still young, although seems unlikely, but again, unknown. People opened cards and didn't even look at them. They blew past them and went directly for the shiny pink card in the middle to see how limited it was. It didn't even matter who the player was. If it was one of 10 cards made particular of that insert, it was a hit. Sports cards are a big business now. There was a heck of a lot of interest in the card show, but it appears the business side has taken over the hobby part. And he has a bunch of great points in this entire article. And I do see personally a lot of people here at the shop coming into the shop for sports cards, but not as a collector, as a businessman or businesswoman. And that's fine, I guess, but like, how much success are you really going to have? And I really love the comparison that I made it to in my podcast. Again, if you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. I talk way more in depth about this topic. Is there a difference between being in the sports card realm just as a business person without having fun or enjoying the hobby as a collector and working a 9-to-5 job? What's the difference? You need to enjoy sports cards at its purest. Collecting, having fun, ripping packs, the hunt, searching for these players. Sports cards at its core, at its foundation, is collecting. It's a hobby. And you're supposed to have fun with collecting. You're supposed to have fun with hobbies. Regardless what it is. Sports cards, comics, Pokemon, doesn't matter. You're supposed to have fun collecting. You're supposed to have fun with a hobby. If you're just in sports cards for business purposes, then what's the difference between that and a 9-to-5 job? Nothing. So again, in order to have success, I truly believe that you need to be in the sports card field as a hobbyist and as a collector of sports cards, and then let the business kind of come secondary. But if you have the business side of it, if you're only into it for business perspectives, you may make some money, but you're going to be miserable. You're going to have to go to a card show. Oh, that card costs $1,000. Like, what's the difference between that mindset and a miserable 9-to-5 job? And again, if I'm off the rails with my opinion and my take here, let me know down in the comment section below, because I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say, and I cannot wait to read and reply to any and all comments. But that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Please make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below, like I said, and please consider hitting that giant red subscribe button. I'll greatly appreciate the love and support. I have queued up a wonderful video right here for you guys that I do strongly believe is going to be excellent for your sports card journey. Like this video as well, and hopefully I'll see you there.